All right, welcome everybody to another ad hoc. Just parted ways with the DX2 66 that was testing all of my CPUs, which I still haven't edited the videos for. Don't know when I'm going to do that. Seems it's going to be a summer of part one, and then the winter is going to get them all done. Project Cars can keeping me busy. However, today is something very unique. This is a 46 motherboard with a VLB and EISA configuration. It has a hint chipset. I don't know too much about this board. I'm not sure if it's the 24-bit GIMP to EISA or not. It is a hint CS8002. The board itself has very little information. 256K of cache. Brand new in box. I literally just put this in to test it. An Adaptec AHA 2740W, brand new. Initially started as $20, but with shipping and import fees and all the other great stuff, it ended up being $80. Hooray. That is an EISA card. For the video card, I have nothing super fancy. It's a 32-bit, I suppose, compact. What got here? It had a name on it somewhere. I don't know, 002340-001 revision L. Running out of the letters of the alphabet there, boys. And yeah, this was purchased used. I had to make some modifications to the fitting. If that looks weird, that is because it is. The original card, the backplate here was like way up here, so it wouldn't fit into the actual motherboard. So I had to modify an I/O card. And, well, it is what it is. It's not pretty, but, I mean, it looks like one of those old school monochrome / parallel things that they had going on in the 80s there. Except without that, just a blank. So I fitted a blank there. And, yeah, so basically I'm going to put that in later. And a word on why I've left these cards in, because this is an EISA setup. You have to run special software to get this thing to work. And if you move the card out of one spot and put it into another one, the BIOS will tell you, "Hey, something's wrong." I'll revisit it in the second part how I set this up. For today, it's just going to be an assembly video. But yeah, it wasn't very easy. Yes, so unfortunately for me, this is a dream that's dying, because what I wanted to do is use this 386 slot with a 46. DLC type deal, TI with the 8K or 16K of cache. I don't even remember at this point anymore. Could not get that to work. This board is unidentifiable. There's been a couple posts on Vogons that suggested certain things. I sat there with a multimeter measuring each path, setting all the jumpers. At this point, this project has lasted 20 years. It's not going to get done for another 20. So what I'm going to do is make it into a viable 46 DX266. And, plop it on the market. Literally, I don't need to. I mean, this is just for fun, but it's just going to sit and rot and dust, and something bad's going to happen. And it's just, at this point, if I put it together, somebody buys it, they can enjoy it. I have plenty of 46 systems. I have plenty of SCSI systems. I don't need more. So to prep, I have done one of these 3.6 volt lithium ion battery mods. I don't want to pop this open, or indeed switch it to off, because then I lose all my data. So it's got 16 megs by 4 here and another 4 there for a total of 20. 256K cache. We've already mentioned the SCSI card and the video board. For the hard drive, we'll be using this beautiful IBM DFHS 2 gig 68-pin SCSI. Came to me from Israel. Worked very well. So the I/O controller for the floppy will be handled by either this guy or this one. Get over here. One of these has a defective IDE channel, which is perfect because this is SCSI, so I'll be using that one. And then for the I/O, I don't have it pictured here, but I'm getting a 5 1/4 For now, this is what came out of the system originally. So this was just a regular floppy SCSI, Zip 100, and a GoTech. These two things are coming with me. I might leave the SCSI thing in here. I'll think about that later. And for CD-ROMs, we are going to use not one, but two Nakabichi 5-disc CD-ROM mini changers. The reason I'm putting two in here, and now I forget which one was good. All right, well, shit, I mixed them up. I ordered one online, and it came badly packaged, and it didn't work at all. Like, it just kept doing the cycle. So the guy sent me another one, and I had to wait so long to get it. And I'm not really impressed with... I'm not going to badmouth him on my channel here, but I was not impressed with it. Months later, I mean, I ordered this in... When did I order that? Like March, something? Like, whatever. And then it just got here like 2 weeks ago. I was like, yeah, that's not... Whatever. You know what? It got here. So one of those works, one of those doesn't work. And the other thing that's going to happen, obviously, is brand new old stock CPU cooler. All right, we'll put that together tonight, in this video. So that's good. We're going to set this aside. Oh, and power supply. We have here I've decided to go ATX with this thing. What do we have? 300 watt, but it has a negative 5 volt rail. So that's what we'll be using. We'll pass that through an adapter, connect everything up nicely. It's a pretty weighty power supply. It seems like it's got some guts in there. Doesn't smell too exploded. It seems that everything is in place there. It doesn't seem that there's too many gaps in it. It works. It was tested. Minus 5 volt rail though. So otherwise, I would have put one of these in. But this is my last AT power supply from the 233 MMX video that was also hosted live here about a month ago. So I'm going to keep that for later. And the case. Oh, the case. Here it is. This is a full tower case that I've had for, I will get a 7-segment there, that I've had for probably 20 years. I remember dropping my high school girlfriend off at her house, and on the way there, seeing that, somebody threw this thing out. It was a 386 inside of there, by the way. DX40, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I was like, I didn't dare pick it up on the way down because I would just get an earful. Why are you picking up garbage? So I literally kicked her out of my car, drove back there, and picked this thing up. I mean, it's a bit dirty, yes. That will be part of the cleanup process. But I don't know, it just exudes like the super early 90s turbo switch. You know, that little display that doesn't say anything there. Just like the lines across it, like Knight Rider styles. I did cut this out a little bit to fit the GoTech. This cage goes in there. So I'm going to have to do something about that. What I'm probably going to do is put the floppy down here and just cover these two up. That comes later. Right now, what I want to do is get this off my shelf and into a box. So, off camera, I have prepared the AT switch to correspond with the adapter here, and you know, your standard 12 volt, whatever 5 volt thing here. And nice and spacious. I'm going to hook this fan into something. So why don't we start right off the bat with putting the power supply in. But yeah, this case, man, this case, I don't regret. I mean, I'm not giving up on the dream, but I mean, even if I won the lottery, the chances of me sitting down and completing this has been through so many iterations. This has been through so many different formats, this thing has been moved to so many apartments in my life. I mean, I think this thing has outlasted some cars I've owned. Lots of fun on it, though. When it was a 386, it was simple. Then I threw SCSI at it. I had a Mach 32, which I still have. the card is dead, but I kept the card. Mach 32, 2 meg NVRAM, which I don't know. I just one day I turned it on and it just didn't work. So I did the right thing and I put an ET4000 in there, which kept going for quite some time. Then it had a whole bunch of, I mean, these are all, I probably still have the raw videos of this somewhere. It was in there. I made my own I/O interface that had to be flipped and reversed for one of those chip on disk things, so that I could use a slave. I had the master on that, and then the chip on or hard drive on disk thing was plugged into the back of the card. I still have that card, which I'll keep because I still have that setup. Just so many iterations. This thing never was kind of like. It's like that hot rod you never finish. Like you get it out on a couple days, like you take it out for the town, but like you realize, shit, my fuel return's not connected. It's dumping gas onto the road, or whatever. This part of it is overheating. And then you get a couple good nights out of it, but it was such an exotic beast, or rather, I wouldn't say such an exotic beast, but it was. It was flawed because I just never had time to sit down and get to it properly. So, am I sad? Well, maybe not. It'll go out with a bang, I suppose. Well, no bangs. It'll go out. It won't go out anywhere. It's working. It's kind of working. This is already tested. I've done a lot of offline tests on it. Modifications done to the motherboard where I had to resolder this keyboard connector that was kind of shabbily installed. Well, not installed, but it was kind of like peeling back. And the CMOS battery, of course, was removed. And other than that, this thing was pretty straightforward. All right, so where do these clips go? I'm going to just assume it goes there. Was I correct? It appears I was not. All right, on both counts. Great. Yes, okay. Let's go to these weird slots. So if you're asking, why is it a DX2 66? The answer is, that's what I had lying around. I do have an Intel, but I want to keep that in case I ever want to take my Siemens Nixdorf back down to a DX2 66. I want the Intel chip in there. Ain't gonna lie. All right, what's going on here? Trying to get these. Yeah, that's not gonna work. You know what? Maybe I'll use the opposite for this, where I should have. Yeah. So none of this is. I didn't prep anything. I just kind of. Or I just put a computer together. So yeah. That goes. Oh, that doesn't even go there. What am I doing? That goes there, and you know what? Actually. This standoff can go in that spot. And one there. So yeah, it's kind of bittersweet for me to be giving up on this thing in a way that I never. Oh, and also another motivating factor behind me giving up on this is that the dream isn't dead. The dream lives on in an IBM PS100 Blue Lightning, 1000 Blue Lightning, that I semi-recently received. One of my last shipments from Poland before that well dried out. This was imported from Germany. The computer is actually under this table. and it will take over my fastest 386 dream. It's gonna be reserved for the winter, I think. It's gonna be an involving build with SCSI, of course, and all sorts of other ridiculous upgrades that shouldn't even get because it's 30 years old. But that's kind of the fun part. All right, so any viewers? No viewers. Okay, I was gonna say, one of you guys remind me which slot this goes into. That goes in the first slot. Because this is live, I can't review anything. So, first slot and second slot is the VGA. Why are you not cooperating with me? Also, I think I could put a standoff here. These are flying out. Okay. All right, one standoff here, and one standoff here and here. Yeah, none of these lined up. And this thing is riveted in. Alright, this is gonna be one of those builds where it's just not, it's just gonna be. And this board, when it was new, probably cost a pretty penny. I don't know what kind of case you want to put this in, but I would assume something like this would be quite acceptable. Just the raw manhandling of it is... Let's try this. Okay, we'll guide these down here. Guide that, guide that, guide that. There we go. Without any damage to the motor whatsoever. Okay. Now that's in there. Let's go ahead and fasten a screw into here. And before I forget, the bloody order of these things. SCSI into slot, I think this is called slot 3. Nice, and then VGA EISA into slot 2. So you might be asking, why the hell aren't you using a Vessel Local Bus VGA card? It seems like a better idea. You wouldn't be wrong. But I wanted to make an EISA build, so yeah, this is it. This is my answer. So those are in loosely. Now what's next? Motherboard connectors, black to black as always. Excellent. This connects into here. And I have my soldering iron fired up. And this is a 12-volt fan, so I'm going to go like this. Floppy drive, CD-ROM, 5 1/4. Yeah, I've got enough here, so I don't want to harass these. This will never be used in this computer. So I propose cutting and putting this in. So I'm going to take this one out, and this one out as well. I'm connecting the case cooling fan in there. This thing used to run hot, so I didn't feel like taking the faceplate off and taking the fan out. Plus, it's just, it's just good. It's a DX2 66. Could use some extra cooling. All right, let me get some heat shrink tubing. And a sip of this. Don't have a lighter down here. Heat gun is also in the garage. There's a lighter. Perfect. Okay. So, slide these on. Again, nothing fancy here. It's just your standard ATX to AT down version, upgrade, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of an upgrade, I suppose. So, as always, you want to solder over the motherboard so that if any gloops of solder come down, they go right in the middle of a chip and fuse a bunch of shit together. I recommend it. That's always what I would say for anybody who hasn't soldered before. Always solder over the motherboard or whatever it is that you're working on. Okay, round taken care of. Let's do positive. This is real high. Holy crap. All right. Where are you here? Okay. So CPU cooler. Let's get one of those here. And then we'll do a quick fire on and see how this works before we start screwing any of these cards in. And the hard drive I'll set it on top for now just to see if it detects. I've tested all this hardware on other hardware. I have not tested if it works with what I'm doing here. Should I thermal paste this? Yeah, why the hell not? Well, let's do that. Let's thermal paste this thing here. Ooh, I'm almost out of this. I bought a tub of this stuff on eBay a couple of years ago. Oh, there's another lighter in here. Sweet. And I'm almost actually finished with it. So it's just been a lot of computers. I mean, not on this particular workbench, but on my kitchen table and videos of old. I now have a basement, which I can do this stuff in. But with that comes, the responsibility of maintaining an actual house. So, yeah, I mean, not complaining. Although I wish I did have more time and energy to devote to editing proper videos like I used to. But, I mean, this will do for now, I suppose. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm just loving the outdoors right now. And my project car is in the process of receiving a fuel tank shipped to me. Because the one I had, yeah, not very good. 35-year-old car. What do you want? So, All right, we'll connect that there. And all right, before we power this on, connect the video. I suppose I should probably grab a keyboard from somewhere. Double check black to black. Let's get that hard drive. Israeli hard drive. Well, it's an idea, but whatever. Like this cable also. So that's the 68 pin, and there's a 50 pin as well, which I'll be using to power these CD-ROMs, which I will loosely slide into place here. Although I don't even, you know what, I'm not going to, because I don't know where the floppy is going to end up. I don't know what kind of floppy cable I have. They're probably going to end up at the top. What the hell? Probably end up at the top. Now, which one of these is good? Which one of these is not good? Is there any way to tell? Oh yeah, I took one of these apart to fix it. Okay, so this is the not good one. So that one goes on the bottom, and the good one goes on the top. All right, I'm including them because I can't be bothered to make it work. I tried, not worth my time, but whoever gets this off of me will now have two of them. Of course, I will disclose that one of them doesn't work. So if anything does go wrong, you know, you got a second parts unit right there. Also, I just don't have 5 1/4 inch cover base. I may, but anyways, besides the point, let me go get a keyboard. Don't have one here. Go to the back room. All right. Oh, there was one behind me the whole time. But the back room had this. So let's see what we got. All right. Let's just triple check everything. Do a blow test. I don't know why, but we should. So there's no sound card, nothing like that. I'm going to put all that crap in later. I'm going to fire this up now and angle the camera towards the screen. And black to black, power on. All right, am I missing anything? No. Oh, well, I'm going to plug the hard drive in. I suppose that would be beneficial to the turning on. All right, basics fired up. Here we go. All right, things are happening. I immediately regret soldering that fan because it's making a bunch of noise. I should be receiving the video signal. Oh, there we go. CMOS checks on failure. I can't get around this. All right. But that's okay. Yes, that's fine. Basically what this means is I'm going to have to rerun the setup again because these lithium-ion batteries, they need to be cycled properly. But anyways, as you can see, I'm posting. There's probably not going to be much more to it than this. That fan is it this fan? Yeah, okay. Oh my god. Anyways, whatever. I'm going to leave that for now. That's annoying. But it's alive. It's alive. It lives. And with that being said, let's put some extra crap in it. So, I'm not going to test the I/O cards today. I just don't feel like it. I know one of them. You know what? Maybe I could test the I/O cards. But then I have to put the slot in with the CD-ROM and the floppy, and then I also have to. What else do I have to do? Get the 7-segment display. No. We're not doing any of that. What we're going to do is put. What do we got here? An Analog Devices AD1816. This is actually a very good sound card. I mean, for a clone. Caps look good, no bulging, no leaks, none of that crap. So that's going to go into. Oh yes, and also because that posted and everything worked. The video worked at least. You know what? I guess it's kind of good that it did that because what that means is I'm going to be able to guide you guys through the setup process for EISA, which I mean, I've never done it as a tech in the 90s because I was like a super junior tech. I was a child working on a table. But yeah, it is not. You guys think plug and play doesn't work properly? I mean, it's not impossible. You can do it. It's just that it was somewhat time consuming to research it and find the CHK files or whatever they're called, the files that correspond to every single thing that's plugged into it, because you have to set not the resources, but you have to set what slot it's in, what it does. Oh, and on top of that, for SCSI, I had to put trailing edge signaling or something like that. Again, I haven't touched this in a while, so I'm not really entirely, brought up to speed on this. But hopefully, the second part will be. I might even do it live. Actually, would be. Why not? I'll show you guys what that's all about. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. What else is a modem? Okay, it's a PNP modem, so whatever. I'll just plop that in there and never configure it because I have so many modems. You might be asking me like, why are you putting a modem in there? It's because I have like a box full of them, and as long as they're not taking up any resources. So this computer is going to be probably mirroring the same build I had on the last computer that I did, the last 46 that was featured on here. It's from like 1993-ish, So, if you had something like this, it was the shit. But it was before Windows 95. So, I mean, whatever. Because I have extra modems, it's going to get a modem, but it's never going to get configured, and I'm never going to load drivers for it. It's probably a 56K, which is a bit ahead of its time. I mean, ahead of this computer's time. So, yeah, literally I have a box full of them. I mean, if the new proprietor doesn't want it, I will just throw this into the garbage because they're pretty worthless. All right, so I believe we are going to wrap this up for the night. So, recap it posts, and that's as far as that was what we were supposed to do. That's what I wanted to do tonight. Just put that plate back in there. And there we have it. So, very likely, I will see you here in 2 to 3 weeks when I have ordered a 7-segment display, a 5 1/4 inch floppy under here. We'll go ahead and what did I say? The top one works? Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna. Yeah, that one's missing screws. So I'm gonna put like a little sign on it in the form of an X. Maybe not directly on it, although whatever, who cares? I'll take that off later. So that I know what the hell is going on. So that's probably how they're going to be arranged. Or not. What is this weird long screw? What is this? That's weird. I'm going to have to get a shorter screw for this. Okay, so that one does not work, but this one does. I think that was for the faceplate, which if I'm going to put a 7-segment in. Anyways, the screw is too long. I'm going to put it in here instead. Into the power supply. And then see if I can find a shorter one somewhere. Maybe this one here. Yeah, that might work. This is hilarious. The top of the case has like CHS values written all over it. There's another one on here too, I think. Yeah. It's like all the various hard drives that I've ever had in this machine. Man, it's a piece of history, at least for me. But as I said, it's just it's time. You know, like it's gonna have to get done. Should I even bother plugging the broken one in? But you know what? I might as well run the SCSI cable while I'm here. So I've got a 2 device, and I'm not excluding that SCSI Zip 100 from the game yet. So that is going to be pin 1, which of course is backwards on this machine. On this drive, I mean. Alright, it's in. Screw these down. I mean, it looks impressive. It looks like there's 2 Nakamichis, 5 CD changers. Like, you put 10 CDs in this thing, if you wanted to. I've got one in an external exclosure. Exclosure. Okay, I need more beer. An external exclosure, and it worked great. I loved it so much I bought another one. And then they sent me a defective one. And then I was like, yo, it doesn't work. So they sent me another one. It took way too long to get here. But yeah, I know that I'm not going to have time to mess around with it. So in it goes. And she grows and grows and grows. Alright. Every screw is different. That's the way we want to do it. At least we're going to follow the same pattern. Literally every screw is different. Actually, I think these 2 are the same. Okay. Anyway. Okay. You know what? Maybe I'll. So that's SCSI connected here. And that potentially maybe for the. What do you call it? That Zip 100. We'll see. I suppose I can plug this crap in as well, and then I'm going to call it a night. For now, what do we have here? Turbo. Why is it melted? What the hell happened here? Oh, it's going so fast. The switch melted. All right, key lock. Hard drive LED, I think that goes here. Yeah, I think this is how I tested it last time. Never in this case, of course. Reset switch. Aw, these aren't even labeled. I'm gonna have to guess. Alright, that looks like a reset. Or turbo. What is this? What happened to them? Why are these melted? Where was this computer? Or like, how hot did this get? Oh dear. Alright, kilo. It's going to be probably this one, and then power is going to be this one or the other one. There's, again, none of this is labeled. So we'll just try that. Actually, this kind of stuff you can do live. Let's do it live. Turn on. You can hear the CD-ROMs. The CPU fan getting stuck with wires. Alright, what do we got here? Is it this one? Nope. I don't have a power LED. What's going on here? This one. $20 megs of RAM. Sweet. 20 megs of RAM in 1994 or 3 or whatever. That is a ridiculous amount of memory. Oh, not a power LED. Good. Just going to untangle this mess. That's the speaker. Also deform. I don't know what happened. Weird. Really weird. Okay, so that is probably the turbo LED. That there's the reset switch. That's your power LED. That is the hard drive LED. Okay, everything looks more or less untangled. I say more or less. And speaker. This probably is the speaker here. And reset. Key lock. Alright, key lock, I'm going to guess is, from my experience, it goes there. I actually do have a key lock for this. I could test this. And turbo and reset. One of these is going to be a reset, one of these is not. So I'm going to plug this in and press the reset button and see what happens. Is it this one? It is not. And it has to be this one. It is not. Oh, there's one more here. Ah, that's reset. Okay. It takes a while to post this thing. And the speaker's working, and the turbo isn't. Because it's like... Alright, cool. In case you guys are wondering what's going on. Let me go back at this again. Okay. And it is a disaster of wires in here, which I will have to clean up later. Okay. Turbo LED is, I guess, this. I'm totally guessing here. And this actually wouldn't be useful because I don't have the turbo switch installed. Turbo, nope. Reset this and see how this works. Wow, it takes a long time to post. I'm just struggling with the turbo setup here now. There's absolutely no documentation for this board anywhere. I found one. Oh, turbo, here we go. Okay, so turbo's on. Is it on, or is that just like some random crap I plugged in? Is this turbo switch? Is this the turbo switch? Maybe it just stays turbo forever. The LED is on, so that's something. What if I hit F1? What will happen? yeah, this cell needs to charge up. This isn't good. I mean, it's not January 1st, 1980, which is clearly, if you're watching this now, you'll know that. So that is going to have to be addressed at some point. Do not write to CMOS and exit. What I really wanted to see was the SCSI. Oh, okay, we got a CX486 DLC at 66 megahertz, setting at 176. I'm not sure what that means. Drive it, this type setting. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a controller card in here. And what? And what? What was that? Oh, right, to see if the hard drive light works for these. And it's not going to work because, yeah, it's going to give you a whole bunch of problems. It doesn't see, yeah. External cache memory is not active. I have not seen that before. Anyways, configuration woes aside, I want to see if the initialization for the SCSI hard disk will issue a hard drive light. That's fantastic. Video error? No, something like that. Yeah. I guess it doesn't like any of that. It's curious if it'll spin that all the way. That's slower than it was before. Oh, the turbo switch does work. But the LED is like, what? Okay, so that's weird. I'm going to leave that alone for now because I actually never hooked up a turbo switch to this before. You know what? I'm going to call it a night. That's pretty good. The guts are in. You know, I'm motivated to get this working. You know, maybe by fall, you know, it'll turn on and get somewhere. Anyways, the bananas, and see you on the next one.